So, welcome, Caroline.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Marvelous.
Bit nervous.
Yeah, so it still says it's preparing. Does it say preparing on yours?
I'm not on Facebook. This is just on the Zoom meeting. It says live, top left. I'm recording now.
Yeah, I'm
I've
recording.
never seen it say live on the top there before when we've had a meeting. So
No, that's because I never go live in the group normally. Normally, I'm not in the Facebook group live, and I'll
no.
just keep going and see what happens. If we're not live, then we'll just do this video and I can send it far and wide anyway. So, how are you?
Good, thank you.
You already answered that, didn't you?
I'm still good.
Well, you look lovely.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for coming on at this short notice because I know I'd talked to you about doing this interview before, and both of us have had different circumstances today, which has meant that you've been able to come on and talk to me live. So I'm really grateful for your time. Thank you.
Welcome.
So the purpose is, as you know, you have been doing or you have done the 8-week Finding Freedom from Habits and Anxiety program. And I've obviously loved having you as part of the program. But I wonder if you could take me back to what life was like for you. And I know that you were in my circle group prior to joining, but what was life like for you prior to, I guess, coming across my work?
Oh, so prior to the circle group kind of thing.
Yeah.
Lots of anxieties, crippling anxieties. Really poor body image, eating habits, dieting, constant dieting, like, joining diet clubs and going along to be weighed and judged every week, and finding that very difficult, although I'm really good at it for a certain amount of time. So feeling like I needed a different way because I've been doing that kind of thing all my life, and it doesn't work long term. It doesn't work long term for me, and I know for many others. So yeah, lots of anxiety and heavy thinking around my weight and what I should or shouldn't be eating, how I looked.
What were we talking about? The dogs.
Lots of self-judgment, guilt, thinking about the past, heaviness around that. Yeah, so I was not in a very good place, really. I won't say I was miserable, really unhappy, but I was stuck in this constant loop of self-judgment, fearing judgment from others, crippling anxiety, low self-esteem, stuck in the gaining weight circle. And just, feeling like there must be something better, because at the time I think I was just about to turn 50, and I was thinking, this hasn't worked for me for 50 years. What makes me think it's going to suddenly start working now? So yeah, so I was trying to find something else, and I can't even remember how I came across you, but I ended up in the Find Freedom, the free Facebook group.
Yeah.
And you used to do a live on there once a week, I think, and I used to listen to that usually when I was washing up, if you remember. Because again, oh no, I couldn't, sit down and just listen to that. I had to be doing something else as well to justify, the time. And then you started the circle group, and I decided to spend the money that I was spending on going to diet clubs to come into the circle group, and I haven't looked back, really. No. Although my dog now wants a wee.
Oh no, does she need to go out?
She's not barking. Come out. So sorry.
No, that's all right. Don't worry. It wasn't showing into the group, so I'm just going to try again, but I am recording it anyway.
Oh, she's just gone outside and come straight back again. Oh yeah, the live disappeared and it's come back again.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. It's I don't know what happened. It just stopped. I didn't think it was because I couldn't see us on the group. I'm just going to see if it happens again. What's your...
So yeah, it's back again now. The live in a little box.
Yeah, but it's still not. It's still not. Because I've got to go into go live anyway. So we'll see if that works. We'll see. Anyway, so I'm going to carry on with you. So you mentioned doing Weight Watchers and Slimming World, I think, just then. What else had you tried to help you with those feelings of anxiety and sort of the self-loathing and stuff?
Counselling, which was very traumatic. I'm glad in a way that I did it, but yeah, it was repeatedly going back into childhood trauma is not a nice place to be. So I'd done that, and yeah, the endless dieting, and if I wasn't dieting, I was trying to eat healthily. I've tried every single diet there is. You name a proprietary diet, I've tried it. And I'm really good at it. Short term, I'm the queen of the class, and I lose loads of weight, and I get prizes and badges and key rings and yay certificates, and then all of a sudden it grinds to a halt and I end up putting all the weight back on. Yeah, so diet clubs and counselling, self-help books, meditation. I always just felt that I should be able to get a handle on it. I should be able to. I felt guilty constantly for lack of control, for lack of self-control, and I think a lot of bigger people do, especially women, feel like they're being judged. If you're fat, then it's because you're lazy and you've got no self-control, and it's seen as a personality deficiency as well as a physical one. So yeah, I mean that's about it really. I hadn't ever tried coaching or anything like this before. I'd never come across Sid Banks or his the 3 principles, which is where your teaching comes from. I'd never heard of that, and when you started pointing us in that direction, it made a lot of sense to me. Something inside me said, yes, this is right, this is true, this is it's not, I don't know, just my whether it's my inner wisdom or what, it was just something inside me clicked when I heard you talking about it, and then I looked into it, and it felt right, and it still does feel right. And the deeper I go into it, the more it feels right. And it's not a quick fix, and it's not, well, I suppose it can be, but you're not telling us you should do this and you should do that. It's not a prescribed amount of steps that you got to take, and then you will get here. So I quite like that, because you're just gently always pointing us in the right direction, and that's to our own inner wisdom and, you know, innate mental health. And it's, you tell it, you know, just keep repeating that it's always there. It is, and you, it just makes so much sense. You know, everything else I think I've come across is trying to fix what is wrong. You were the first person who said there's nothing wrong with you. You don't need to fix anything. And I was like, what?
I was going to say, how was it initially to hear that?
Sorry?
How was it initially to hear that there was nothing wrong with you?
Yeah. Oh, well, I didn't quite believe you at first. Because it's like, what do you mean there's nothing wrong with me? Have you seen me? Look at me. I'm fat. I'm anxious. I'm, you know, damaged. You know, I've got this whole backstory of how damaged I am and how not right and not, you know, okay and not enough that I am. So it was a gradual thing, really. Although it sounded right to me, and then there was something in there that I had to keep listening, had to keep, you know, delving into this. So, and I guess we're all the same. I mean, none of us have got it 100% of the time, you know, but I think I slowly began to, you know, to believe you.
Woohoo! So I have a question, like there's a couple of questions that occurred to me, and one of them was that when you joined the circle group a year ago, you said that you stopped paying for your Weight Watchers,
Yeah.
subscription to join the circle group. What did it have to take for you? Like, what did you have to overcome for you to make that change in your investment in yourself?
It was pretty huge, really, to let go of dieting and to make that leap and to spend the money on something that was just for me. Although the Weight Watchers was just for me, really, it was more tangible, if you see what I mean. You know, it's something that's very acceptable. People do it, and you're doing it because you want to lose weight. To suddenly then switch and say, well, I'm spending that money on coaching, a coaching group, and, you know, that is just for me. Although being a happier person and a less anxious person is good for everybody around me. Yeah, it was a big leap. I have, you know, I still struggle with spending money on myself or feeling worthy of anything that I deem as expensive. You know, my husband will spend, you know, as much on one pair of shoes or one t-shirt that I'd want a whole outfit. I'd want several things for that. You know, it's just like, no, I don't spend that much on something for me. Very rarely. It has to be something very special.
Yeah, so that sort of leads me into my next question, because I know that you'd talked about coming into the Freedom Program back in April.
Yeah.
And didn't. And then you decided that you were going to come on to the one that was, when did we start your one? Was it July?
July, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, July. What was it this time? Like, how did you get through that blockage of, I can't spend this money on myself? Or what was it about this time that enabled you to come in?
Well, partly it was because you were very kind and did a lower fee because of lockdown, which, you know, made it more affordable for me. But also, I don't know, there was just something like, come on, if you don't do this now, you won't do it. And I sat there and worked all my finances out and thought, I can just about do it. And it took me ages to press the button, and then I thought, right, no, do it, and I pressed the button. I was like, I've done it, you know. And strangely enough, I didn't tell my husband. Not that I'm scared of him, but he's not a monster. You wouldn't care, and it's my money. It was just, you know, several times he was like, what are you spending all your money on? You know, because I'd be like, no, well, I haven't got any money for that this month. And I was like, I didn't really want to tell him, which is another strange thing. But then I did tell him, and he was like, oh, okay. So yeah, it was partly the economic, but partly I knew I really, really wanted to do it, and I'd been wanting to do it for a while. So it was kind of, maybe I just needed that last little nudge of it being more affordable to like take the plunge and jump in. But I'm so glad I did. Both things, ditching the Weight Watchers for the circle group, and you know, taking the plunge and doing the freedom program, because it's been amazing, and I've loved every set. And I think also I am one of those people who signs up to things. This is another barrier to me signing up to things that are going to be a significant, you know, investment in money, because so many times I sign up for things and then don't see them through.
Yeah.
So I was a bit worried about that. I was a bit worried about, you know, taking the plunge and then, you know, not seeing it through. But I found the program so easy to access, the way you do it with the short videos. And then, you know, there is obviously some longer things like links to interviews and things like that, but each module is generally quite short. So I could manage to do that every day. Well, you know, pretty much every day. And I kept up with the program the whole time. Although there's absolutely no pressure to do that. I wanted to. I was, every Monday, I was looking forward to the new week's worth dropping into my inbox so that I could get started on the next week. And I really enjoyed it all. And also the group calls were amazing. I think the group calls are the magical extra thing that just transforms you know, you've got the modules are great and they point you in the right direction and they give you information, but the group calls are where it all kind of mixes together and creates magic, I think, in my opinion anyway. The wonderful women who were on the course with me, and you of course, and we had tears and laughter and, you know, sharing and a feeling of just so much support and love. And, you know, often people would be talking about something that's totally irrelevant to my life and circumstances, but I'd still get something out of it. I'd still, you know, see something in how it was discussed, and, you know, the way you pointed us, you know, in the right direction a lot of the time, but also we pointed ourselves, the support and the insights and the ideas and the sharing. It was just really amazing. And yeah, it's really sad at the end, because you kind of like, oh, this is the last one. It's like being on a 8-week retreat with lots of other ladies and then having to say goodbye at the end and go home. It's like, oh. So yeah, it's I'm so glad I did it. Really pleased I did it, and was brave enough. And also at the beginning, you start the first group call and everybody's a bit like, And you know me, I can't bear the awkward silence, because I start feeling sorry for you because there's an awkward silence. So I end up putting my hand up first. I bet everybody was thinking, oh God, here she comes. Caroline's on first again. But sometimes I'd put my hand up and I had no idea what I was going to say. No idea what I was going to bring to the discussion that week or that day. And then we'd start talking, and then something would come up and come out, and you know, there was such a flow to the group calls that was amazing. Really, really enjoyed that, and I know I'm not the only one.
Yeah, no, I think there's something very magical when that happens in that circle, and it is, you know, like obviously we continue it in the circle group with the group calls, but I genuinely believe that through that 8 weeks, just having those two 90 minutes enables that connection. It enables that kind of deeper insight and knowing, gosh, I'm really not alone in my thinking. And I think as women, we and men, you know, I'm not gender specific, but people feel very alone in their struggles. So I think it leads to a real depth of connection, which is hugely important.
Oh yeah, it really is a deep connection. You know, I feel such a connection to the ladies that I did the course with, and they were all wonderful, and we're all very different and bringing different things to the table, and that again, you know, really helps, because everybody's everyone's come along with their own, like, you know, thing that has made them their tip of the iceberg, as you put it, their thing that they want resolved. Me, it was mostly my weight. I know other people, it might have been relationships or alcohol, or, you know, all sorts of things. So we're all bringing different things to the table as well, and getting different insights, and at different times, you know, sometimes it would be a group call and I'd be thinking, oh, I feel really low today, and I feel really, I don't know if I want to do it. And then at the end of the group call, I'd feel amazing, you know, because of the energy in the group. And it was brilliant, you know, really loved it.
Me too. So what would you say, like where you were, say, a year ago, and you've been in the circle, now you've completed the 8-week program, what's life like for you now?
An awful lot less anxiety. I wouldn't say, you know, I never get anxious, because I think that's a normal part of living. I have my good days and bad days of, you know, of body image and, you know, self-esteem, but in general it's a lot higher than it was. Pick my dog up. Come in. What do you want? Sorry. Poodles. Never get a toy poodle. They're far too needy. As regards to my eating, it's coming around. I'm hearing my wisdom more often. It's occurring to me that I don't have to follow my thoughts with my thinking. I wouldn't say I'm there yet so much, but other things have started to shift and change.
Oh
no. My baby. Think she's a parrot. Yeah, life just looks calmer, happier. I know I do get caught up in my thinking, everybody does, but I can quite often quickly see that that's what's happening, and that if I just take a minute and take a few deep breaths, let everything settle, that, you know, I will come back to being calm again. I don't get caught up in the storm so much, especially with my daughter, who was quite, you know, had a lot of storms and I'd get caught up in it with her, and, you know, get all upset and endless thinking, heavy thinking about, you know, her situation. And now I don't, because I'm much better able to help her and support her if I don't step into the storm with her. I can, you know, I'm much calmer, and I know this will probably make you laugh, but I am actually less emotional. Charlie knows I'm quite an emotional person. Quite often tearful in, you know, good and bad ways. But I now see those for what they are. That I don't beat myself up for feelings and emotions and thoughts. I can think, well, that's just the way it is, and let it pass on through most of the time, you know. So it doesn't worry me so much. I don't lay awake at night worrying like I used to.
Gosh, that's huge, isn't it?
That is probably one of the biggest ones that I forgot to mention. I used to lay awake at night hours worrying about everybody and everything. You know, I'd be worrying about my daughter, I'd be worrying about everything. And I don't really do that anymore. I mean, I had a sleepless night the other night, but that was more to do with hot flushes. And then started thinking about my garden and what I wanted to put in my garden, and couldn't get my brain to shut up. But yeah, it wasn't worrying. It was more like annoying, like, shut up, we can plan the garden in the morning. Now's the time to sleep. Instead of laying there crying quietly, or, you know, getting myself in a terrible state because I was worrying endlessly about, you know, my life, my kids' lives, you know, everything. So that is a massive thing for me, massive, because I've always been that person who laid awake at night worrying. I've always been a huge worrier. And one of the things that's really stuck with me that you said quite early on was, worrying is like playing a fictional movie in your head. It's not actually true. It's just you're making up a movie of what you think might happen, and then worrying about it, and you don't know what's going to happen. And it really did occur to me that I'm just, you know, if something bad does happen, well, you know, you have to deal with it. And if you're worrying about it endlessly before it happens, you've gone through it twice at least, you know. You're just making it worse. Where, you know, so I'm a lot more optimistic these days, and a lot less of a worrier, which is massive for me. I've been a huge worrier my whole life, so goes hand in hand with the anxieties, you know. But
me too.
Yeah, so that is probably one of the biggest things, because also if you're laying awake worrying all night, you know, you don't wake up in a very good place in the morning. You're tired and stressed out, and before you've even started your day.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm much better now. If I'm awake at night now, it's usually hot flushes or full moon. Or both, as it was the night before last.
You had the one-to-one sessions with me. You had that package. Was that what was that like?
Oh, that was really good. I really got a lot out of the one-to-ones, because you can. I think I feel very safe with you, that I could say anything. Sometimes when you're in a group setting, you're conscious of taking up too much time because there's other people and there's only a finite amount of time, or saying something some things you just don't want to say in a group, no matter how close you are or whatever. And I found the one-to-one group coaching calls really helpful. You're very good at putting people at their ease, and oh, go on, go on. Yeah, I found those really helpful as well, because you can just dive deeper into what's bothering you, or anything you want extra help with. So yeah, I'm really glad I went for those as well.
So what would you say to someone who's sort of on the fence at the moment about coming into the next program?
I'd say go for it, because that's one of the best things I ever did. I really, really enjoyed it, and I'll probably go back and do all the modules again and again, because you get lifetime access, obviously, to all of those. And sometimes, also, you find if you go back and listen to something, you hear something completely different. So it's an ongoing thing as well. So I'd say, yeah, go for it. And Asha agrees.
Yeah. Yeah, they always bark at the right time, don't they? Oh, that's so wonderful. And is there anything else you'd like to add, just for the purpose of this?
I don't know. I don't. That I've been rambling on. Yeah, Asha says that's enough.
No.
No. Yeah, I feel like, once you get me started, I ramble on, then. But
I don't think so. I very much enjoy listening to you.
thank you. No, I'd just say I absolutely thoroughly enjoyed it, and really, really glad I did it, and it's helped me enormously. And I think that's going on. This is just the beginning, kind of it evolving over the years, and like I say, you've got lifetime access to the module. So I think, yeah, I will be going back and forwards, backwards and forwards for a very long time. It's always there to help if I need reminding of something, or something particular. The guest interviews are amazing as well. Get so much out of those. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
That's brilliant. And also, Caroline, you and all of the other ladies that are in the Facebook group for the program are still in the Facebook group.
Yeah.
So you'll be there to, I guess, support the others when they come through. And some of you may be joining in the group calls. We'll see.
We'll see.
Thank you so much for your time. I've really enjoyed listening to you. I'm very, very grateful for your time, and grateful that you chose to invest in me and yourself and do the program.
And you're very welcome anytime.
Cool. Well, thank you very much. And I'll speak to you soon.
Bye. Bye.